Good evening to all my coyotes and coyotes. I want to welcome each and every one of you to this Dan Talk and Campus Life Collaborative event. A big special thanks to Chief Weekly and Mr. Dash for offering his time for tonight. We are so excited to be able to bring you this virtual event with one of the most respected recording executives, as well as successful American entrepreneur, Mr. Dame Dash. As we prepare you all for this event filled with insight, inspiration, knowledge, I encourage you all to take notes and actively listen. Get something out of this because there's a lot to take in. I'll waste no further and start with the first question. Mr. Dame, our first question is what saving tips do you have for someone who is trying to start a new business?
With tips? Well, first I would say you have to find something that you love, something that you would do for free so that you work so hard at it that, it doesn't feel like work because it's something you're doing that you love. And, it becomes a dream that you work so hard until it becomes your job, and then you have to understand the type of discipline that comes with that. You have to have a point of view. You have to understand that you have to be consistent. You have to understand that it's not going to be easy. And you have to understand that as a boss, your job is to fix problems, to deal with problems. It's not really such an easy existence. And at the end of the day, make sure you're fighting for love.
Zach, sir, you got the next question?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Dash, for having us. And we have a question from Madison Henner. She wants to know, the pressure to participate in the American capitalistic rat race is real. How do you recommend that we prioritize our passion and nurture our dreams for financial success while resisting monetary gain of investing our time into some soulless corporate position? So that's a loaded question.
Well, number one, you put yourself in a position where you're not working for anybody. You work for yourself. You have to first recognize your dream. Like I said, you have to be able to visualize it. I tend to put together like a vision board of what I want to buy and things I'm going to do to make the things I want to buy. And then I get a bunch of like-minded people around me and we just get to work and we flip. So the way to not be a part of corporate is to be corporate's competition. And that's always what I've been. I'm not trying to fit into an industry. I'm an industry disruptor. I'm an industry conqueror. Like, industry is not built culturally. It doesn't behoove us. It's meant for us to somewhat be exploited, told what to do and control, and for us to be dependent on. And that's not a bad plan, but I'm just not with it. And I never have been.
Thank you, Mr. Dash. Garrett has another question for you.
Yes, I do. All right, so the next question is, how long did it take you to build your wealth?
I mean, in my world, I haven't really built my wealth to where I want to be. I don't have money I could just look at. Because I have such big dreams, the minute one dream's come true, the money I made from that dream goes into another. So I've made dreams come true, which have made me wealthy. But again, it's not enough for me to invest and look at money. I'm still eating the food I kill every day, but I just have big dreams. Like, I don't consider myself the best businessman because I don't do what most people would do for business. Like, all money's not good money. I don't deal with people that trigger me. I don't deal with people that exploit me. I do it in a very artistic way. I only deal with people that are like-minded and that I want to deal with, that don't make me feel bad. So I probably miss out on a lot of money, but the wealth to me is quality of living and the love and being happy. So for me, it was like finding a common ground. Most people's version of success is a lot of money in the bank to look at. But a lot of people that I know that have that, actually most are miserable, and would pay to be happy, and they can't. Happiness is priceless. And making sure the people that you love are happy is priceless. That's the wealth. But as long as I have dreams, I think I'm always going to be investing in them because I don't think anyone else is going to invest in my dream but me.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, our next question is from Lizette Hernandez. Mr. Dash, she wants to know, what is the biggest sacrifice made in the process of achieving? At least, what is your biggest sacrifice you've made in the process of achieving?
I mean, I wouldn't call it a sacrifice. It's just time, effort, and energy. You know? I mean, it's not like when I think about sacrifice, I sort of think about, it's a negative connotation with that. I just think if I'm doing what I love and I'm working really hard at it, I'm just having a really great time and monetizing that. So the sacrifice is just focus. Sometimes you got to make yourself uncomfortable and do things that you don't like, I don't like to focus so much, but when I really want something to be tangible and professional, I got to be very specific. You know what I mean? I just think the sacrifice is the time. It's the money, but I just don't call it a sacrifice because it comes back, like every second I learn and I have fun.
Thank you, Mr. Dash.
All right, our next question, Mr. Dash, is this is a good one. Do you need a college degree to be financially successful?
I got a GED. So, I find that in school, they never teach you how to have money. They never teach you to be an entrepreneur. They don't teach you how to pay taxes. They don't teach you how to pay laws. They don't teach you how to code. They don't teach you none of that stuff that I think that is necessary, for an individual and an adult. And I don't know. I did it without college. So, you guys are in college. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But I think the best school, the best lessons are living, actual experience and starting early. Like, I think I'm just very seasoned because I started when I was young. I got independence before I was, in my 20s, and I've never looked back. So I really don't know any other way.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, so we have a question from Megan Fitzgerald, and it kind of branches off of what they do and what they do not teach you in school. She wants to know, in your opinion, what are good practices for achieving passive income?
Well, it's passive income, residual income. It's capturing things that continue to make money. So for me, it's content. Content is something that gives you residual income. Period. So that's what I invested in, things that, are going to make me money while I'm sitting by the pool. And, I don't have to always work so hard. So I know when I was younger, I was looking to when I was 50 and I was like, I'm definitely not going to be wanting to run around on the stage shaking champagne bottles. And that's the reason why I started to make movies and invested everything into movies, because that gives you passive residual income. And that's the key. Or, you can be in the clothing business and you can license something and they give you a minimum, every year. And that takes a lot of work as well. But there are ways to do that, to license your brand and in different forms, ancillary things that can give you passive income. And to me, passive income is, again, when you're sitting by the pool for something you did 10 years ago, and all of a sudden you get a check for $100,000 and you're like, oh, snap, that was great.
Yeah, the unexpected money is the best money, I guess. Thank you.
Saves me a lot.
All right, our next question is, and I apologize if I butcher his name, but it's from Irene Kolunga, and our question is, what is one piece of advice you live by?
Just be honorable. Honor is everything to me. Living by a certain code, being cut from a certain cloth. Just being honest. And I don't like cheating. So there's people I've been in business with that have gone perception-wise very far, but they did it by violating their integrity and compromising friendships. And, if you cheat to win, you don't really win to me. You know what I mean? Like, I want to get it the honest way. That's why I achieved a certain level of success in the corporate world. And I was like, this is too easy, but it's not good for me. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't make me feel good. I was like, let me see what it looks like to do it independently. And that's what the challenge for me has been, and hasn't been a challenge really. It's worked out. But that's what I wanted to do, come back around. It's like I did it once corporate, let me do it independent, the same way, same scale, without compromising quality of living and not having to deal with people that trigger me.
Okay. Our next question comes from Taylor Halbert, and it has to do with investing. She wants to know, do you think investing in many different options is the best way to financial success?
When you say investing, meaning investing in yourself option-wise, or investing in other people and other things?
She wants to chime in the chat, Taylor Halbert, to further clarify what she meant by different options when it comes to investing. I believe it was a stock options.
I never really got so big. Like I said, I'm not the greatest businessman. I like to, bet on myself. So I don't like to put money into things I can't control. And it's an emotional roller coaster for me. For some people it's good. I'm a creative and I'm really confident in me. So that's basically what I like to invest in. I like the thrill of making money or being creative or like getting a business to start clicking. That's the challenge for me, and I like it.
Okay, so more investing in yourself, building yourself up, and letting the money come to you instead of chasing the money.
I put my point of view on something that can be sold, and then that's what I do. I market it, flip it, that kind of thing.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, our next question is from Alex Del Hoyo. All right, and the question is how to remain humble.
I don't know. I'm not humble.
I love it.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, I feel like for me, especially culturally, there's this narrative that we're number 2 and you're good for a black guy and all that stuff. Ain't nobody gonna brag for me. I know this because I do things so honest. And a lot of people don't recognize the things that I do because they don't understand it. Unless I say it, no one will know. And also the receipts, like a lot of what I've been saying for the last 14 years, 15 years, and like back then it wasn't popular. Now being independent is the popular thing. When I was saying it, a different mentality was running like, oh my God, he's trying to get it mastered. That kind of thing. But now that it's in style, certain people even pretend that they had that perspective years ago that didn't. But if you look under the hood with me, you'll see I've been saying the same exact thing unapologetically since you've known who I am. That's the reason why I think I'm still relevant. I'm 50. You guys are young. You know what I mean? But you just still know me. I'm still outside, but I'm not outside. It's really because of my ideals and the fact that I like to fight for us. You can follow?
Yeah. I'll go ahead and say happy birthday to you. I know your birthday coming up, and I was doing my research on you. So
thank
happy
you.
Birthday to you.
Yeah, I was saying I'm about to be 50, but either way, I've been 50 since I was 45. I always have a little up to that. I just once you get 35, you're 40. Once you get 25, you're 30. I just rounded off like that. And the reality of it is, and I'm happy. The longer I've been on this planet, the more cool that I do. So, I don't feel like I'm behind. I still feel young because I'm ahead of the game for the amount of things I've done. I know I'm older than a lot of y'all, but I'm definitely younger than a lot of people.
Okay, everyone that's attending, I thank you for being here. We're going to answer 10 more questions that were previously submitted prior to this event, and then we will be answering some of your questions that are in the chat. So our next question comes from Elsa Hernandez. She wants to know, what is your everyday motivation?
My dreams. I'm always dreaming. Like I said, I got a vision board. Yeah, I'll show you. And no matter how good I'm doing, no matter how much I like the house that I'm in, I'm always looking at a newer, bigger house. I'm not complacent in that way. And I'm so real about my dreams that I make a vision board. And I'm going to go to my bathroom and show you. This is all beside all over the place. But anyway, right there is next to my toilet is my vision board, the things I want to accomplish for 2021. And I look at that all day. The houses I want to buy, the businesses I want to do, all those things. You see it?
Yeah.
So I'm not just telling y'all that I live that. You know, I know my dreams. So I can focus energy on them and get around other people that have similar dreams, and they can focus their energy on it, and we can all do it together, and it realizes itself a lot quicker. You know? So that's my motivation, really, is knowing what I want and what direction to focus my energy and doing that. And then also my son, my kids, all my kids, you know, my family, the people I love, I want to make sure they never have to go through what I went through. And I take pride in that.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Dan, we got another question for you. The question is, once you've accomplished your goals, how do you continue moving forward with the same hunger towards new goals?
I keep dreaming. I got new ideas every day. Things inspire me every day. I'm just highly inspired. You know, like if I'm not doing art, I'm doing music. If I'm not doing music, I'm doing movies. If I'm not doing movies, I'm doing fashion. If I'm not doing that, then I'm doing things like this. You know, I'm just like a creative, a very aspirational creative. I started out a businessman, and then I turned into this character called Billy Pablo III. And that's the person that's just 100% music and writing and all that. And that's what makes me feel the best. That's the person I enjoy being the most, is the artist. I really hate the business, to be honest.
I actually got a question for you. Before you, Ray, I got a question for Dave. Is that okay? You ready?
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah, so Dave, and I'm listening to you, and it's inspiring, right? Because as you know, I got my thing that I do. But the question I have for you in 2020, when everyone was locked down, was that like one of the best times for you to sit there and create, like, because you were isolated, like
to be honest,
with everyone's loved ones?
You know, the thing is, I've been living in a bubble for years, for the last 15 years. And because I own everything, so I have, you know, a place where I can go be creative with all the cameras, and then I got my crib. And, you know, I just had the same circle of people, and we worked. So I made movies, I made documentaries, I made magazines. We traveled to Wyoming, bought a ranch, you know, we did all type of. So, you know, for me, it was like the whole world had to adjust to the way I've been living. It was like, it was odd. Where, you know, a lot of people's it was a nightmare for a lot of people, but for me, it was a dream. And now that I got my second shot, I'm back outside, but not too much, you know, just enough to work around people I don't know sometimes.
Appreciate that question, man. It's back on you, Ray.
I believe it's on exactly right now.
It was on Zach?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So it's going to be more towards about filming. I know you're a director and actor as well. It comes from Emil Winston. They want to know, what jobs or internships should I be doing for entrepreneurship, acting, directing, and film production?
Well, definitely be a PA on a film set, you know, and you'll learn. Or get some cameras and start making it yourself, and you'll learn, you know. One of the two. But if you want to be in the movie business, then yeah, I'd be an intern with someone like a producer, or, you know, be on the set while they're shooting and just see how it really is, because you'll never learn it. Like, you know, you got to really live it to understand how to make a movie and the things that come with it, the whole process.
Sometimes you're there all day and you got a 5-minute slot in the movie. It's crazy.
Yeah. Or like 5 minutes is a long time. That's a scene.
Right. That's the same, right. I did a film before, 5 minutes. I did a whole day work from 8 to 10 at night, and my joint was 5 minutes.
And you're lucky to end up on the editing room floor. A lot of things don't even make it.
Yeah, it's true.
You know? Not with me though. I keep everything. I ain't got time because I'm the one paying for it.
All right, so we got the next question. James from this is something related to also to you and one of your business ventures. started?
I mean, you have to make your own clothing, but it's not like just putting logos on hoodies. It's about, having a point of view and the way it fit and all that kind of thing. But it's just, fashion to me is the hardest one, to be honest, because you have to pay for inventory most of the time before it sells. And if it doesn't sell, then it's cheap. It's a hard business, to be honest.
So that wouldn't be a business that you would recommend someone to get into? I mean, of course, there are arts in it, but
I would recommend it if you know the business.
Yeah.
It's not a business to get in unless you really understand it.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, our next question from Nicholas Sellers. How do you balance everything around you?
Well, it's like life. My business is based on everything that's in my life. So, again, I've architected a world where I could work from home with my baby, with my girl, and the people I want around me. So, again, to me, there's only one Dame Dash, and I don't think anyone's going to ever be able to do the things that I've done the way I've done it, just based on the experience and the way the world has changed. But, I figured out how to just I sort of retired from the music business 15 years ago. I was explaining this to someone else today. When you hear about happily ever after, this is me in happily ever after, So I was able to do the rough stuff when I was young and realize that, okay, I'm ahead of the game. Now is when I could really be me and invest in me, and make all my dreams come true as opposed to making everybody else's come true. Or while I'm making mine come true, the people that are helping me, I can make theirs come true as well. So you can't even work with me unless you have a dream, because you can't work on mine unless you know how to work on your own. So unless I see you working on your own, like the way I see someone working on their own dream, I know that's the amount of effort that they're putting into my stuff. And that's also a way to gauge who you're working with. Right? When you say that? Yeah.
All right, Dan, we got the next question from Lakeisha Rogers. And her question is, how do you achieve financial success with no type of support from family or friends and with children that solely rely on you?
That's the test. That's my life. Breaking that 99% first generation to get into that 1% without any nepotism, that's what makes you a beast. And you have to be built for that. But the thing is, I just didn't want to live like the 99% of the world. And I knew that 1% was living another way. I felt like just because you have family doesn't mean you deserve to have more than me. So I decided to just fight that much harder. Like I said, hey, if you look, call me as a dog. If you look under the hood, if you look at the way I was years ago, I was straight savage. Hey! Sorry, she's gonna wake the baby up. I was straight savage for the business, beast mode all the time. And that was one of the reasons why is the dog barking? Oh, it's KO. KO. That's one of the reasons why I had to stop, because it was just too much beast mode for me. It was like 20 years of beast mode and 30 years let me see. I started when I was 19. I would say I retired when I was about 30, 2005. She's at home. In 2005. So I've been on vacation, I think, or retirement for the last 15 years. But before that, it was 10 or 15 years of just brawling. You know what I mean? Because I was dealing with the system, and it wasn't the same day as it was. It wasn't the internet. It wasn't a lot of awareness. There wasn't a lot of accountability like there is now. And it was savage. It's a savage mode. It's rough, but not really rough. See, I was coming from a place where I was in survival mode in the jungle. So y'all know what that is in the jungle. It's killers, and the recourse is jail, death. And, when you get out of that business, and the same discipline that you have for doing stuff to survive, if you put that into legal things, it's really relatively easy because I'm not worried about no killers. I'm not worried about going to jail because I'm not doing nothing illegal. You know what I mean? So like sometimes I talk to my old friends from the block and I'd be like, do you guys dream? Same question I ask everybody. What's your dream? And they don't have one. And I'm like, do you remember when we were young, our dream was to get a certain amount of cocaine and have a certain amount of money and have a car, and we knew what we wanted, and we are able to get that. That, what we dreamed about back then, doing that and surviving that was way harder than doing something legal and having a dream to do something legal and focusing your energy on that. You know, doing things that are negative, can you pick it up, are way more draining than doing things that are positive. Way harder. You know what I'm saying? Wait, hold on. Let me see. It's my daughter. Let me see what she's talking about. You know, like I said, this is how I balance. Like real quick, I'll say, yo, Holly, let me see my daughter real quick. What's wrong? What's wrong? What's happening?
Family first, man. You know,
all right. I'm doing the Zoom. I'm doing the Zoom.
Look at watching you.
I was telling them I'm doing. Oh, she's watching me. Look, my daughter's watching me. That's dope. Thanks, baby. I love you. Big shout out to Tallulah. Okay.
Oh, is it like
and her friends. Big shout out to my daughter Tallulah and her friends. She's watching. You can,
oh my god.
Oh man, good. Appreciate her.
and she's 12. So
We're gonna have to wait. It's charging, all right?
and she's 12, going on 13. And to be able to have her with her friends watching stuff like this, because she doesn't understand how cool her dad is. She thinks I'm like kind of lame.
She don't know?
She don't know. She busts my chops more than anything. You know what's funny? You're not famous in your house. Nobody listens to you in the house. You know? And it's funny because that's probably the reason why I stay in the house and around people that know me well, because they don't treat me like I'm famous. They treat me like, you know, and I don't even look at myself as famous. But my kids definitely give me no props or no burn in the house.
Well, with all due respect, we're all in your house right now thanks to technology.
Yeah, but y'all not my kids. ain't no technology gonna make y'all my children, but you know, you're my brothers and sisters.
Well, I think that's wild because it's like for folks like us, like me, you read exactly the book on, you know, and then it's like to have a conversation with you, it's dope. Like you regular cat, which is great. But it's just like, man, for your kids, they looked at you just daddy to them. So I can understand that, you know, having my two little princesses, they just look at me like daddy. They don't care about all the other stuff that goes on outside this house. So I get you wholeheartedly. But I haven't reached the magnitude to where you have yet. I pray I will though, for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you can visualize it and you really want it, you'll do it. But you know, you have to take risks and you have to have no fear. You know, fear to me is like an artificial emotion that's been implemented into us to stop us from making our dreams come true. And I just don't do the fear thing. I don't like being scared. So if I do feel scared, it's not going to last long. I'm going to get over it in like seconds just because I don't like the way it feels. And the only way to deal with my fear is to go ahead and deal with the things that are bothering me or giving me anxiety or hit the bag. But I'm not doing any of that. I'm not doing the fear thing. So when you believe in something and have a dream, it should definitely make people scared. It should be something they've never thought of. They shouldn't think you could do it. They shouldn't even give you any like, oh, you could do that. They should be like, you think you could do that? I don't think so. And that should fuel your fire, because that means you're doing something that they cannot think of, that they're too scared to do. And then you're like, all right, watch me do it effortlessly, but with a lot of work behind it and discipline.
You get some real gems right now, because everything you're talking about, I know I've experienced, man. And exactly, Red, I've been there, man. Definitely talk about that.
Yeah. All right. I'd like to jump to another question from Alona Reddick. She wants to know, what's your take on investing in other people's companies? And I think you kind of answered that earlier when you were saying that. You guys saw what happened the last time I gave somebody $2 million?
Yeah.
Hey, Dame. Excuse me.
That was real.
I mean, there might be some students that's on right now that don't know what happened. So if you don't mind elaborating and sharing that experience, so they don't repeat the same lesson.
Well, just long story short, I believed in somebody. I gave them $2 million to make something. They didn't pay me when they had the money. And, I had to run up on them in a public place and tape it. And that's the only way I could get paid. And it took years. And, you just really feel violated and, you feel like people take you for granted. And, it's just a lot more gratifying to invest in yourself and your family. But even family will run off on you, But when you invest in yourself, if you mess it up, it's you that messed it up. You ain't going to rob yourself, and if you do, that's your choice. But I just find that investing in me it's like, to me, and again, I'm not knocking people that invest in other things, but it's like in other businesses, it's just like, what I had to learn is to not be scared to invest in me, and for me not to think that I can do it on a professional level, not give somebody else an idea and have them execute it for me. Like, I have the idea. I know how to make it happen. So why wouldn't I invest in me? Because then I don't even have to split the money like that. Economically, it makes more sense. But if that's what you do and that's your game, it's just not the game I play. Like, I'm here to tell you how to play the game I play. And I said it might not be the best business, but I do think I'm the happiest person most people know.
All right. And then just to follow up on that, so are you closed off to investing into other individuals or anything like that?
My books are closed. But if I'm inspired, then we can work together in a partnership. And we have to both bring equal, fair exchange to the table. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Fair exchange.
All right, appreciate that. Go ahead, Zachary.
What time is it? 7. Hey, Rock, you gotta get a massage in 2 minutes. Sorry.
No, you good. What you gonna say, Zach?
You're up. Go ahead.
So Rocky, get a massage. And then I'll bring this up.
With who? Gabriel?
Gabe, 17.
Okay. All right, Dan. So we got, Gabrielle, and Torrente. And the question is, what have you learned from your experience with Rockefeller Records that has helped you the most?
What have I learned that's helped me the most? I mean, like the good or the bad? I'm sorry for cursing. Well,
it's all good.
I guess it gave me a real appreciation for women, I didn't want to invest in dudes no more. They got on my nerves and I was triggered. But I just knew that if I had a dream and that people had the same dream and we all came together and worked hard, we can accomplish the dream. But I also learned that when I'm uninspired, that I can walk away from a big, big check to go do what makes me happy. You know what I mean? And not care what anybody says or whatever anybody's narrative is or anything. I think the best lesson was walking away from it when I didn't have to.
All right. And then another follow-up question, Dane. I think that's good that you said that last part. But so do you think that walking away is not always a loss, right?
It's a game. If you're not happy, if you're not feeling the circumstance and you're really not enjoying yourself, there's not even a question. It wasn't even like a thought. I was like, I'm out of here. I'm not having fun no more. I had outgrew it, It was really fun until I realized that there were other fun to have.
Yeah, I just think when it comes to people walking away from situations or from people that their egos and pride get in the way from just walking away.
Yeah,
I've experienced that personally myself in my past as well. Just letting my pride and ego stepping away from me, walking away from something that could be toxic or negative, just for egotistical reasons, though. So.
Yeah, but you're young, so if you could realize and recognize that early, there's a lot of excuses when you're young, especially if you're a dude. Like, a dude's brain's not even developed till he's 25. Girls evolve a lot faster. Their brains get quicker. So, there's mistakes you're supposed to make young. But it's just at a certain age, you got to be like, yo, I'm not a kid no more,
Yeah.
But I think when you're younger, it's good to, like, in a safe way, just do everything, especially if you have a little bit of support around. You know what I mean? It's just, now it's time to go, uh-oh. Hey, good. Holly! God. Holly! You do that. It's my computer died, but we're gonna get back on. I don't know why Holly would ever leave the computer without the cord. Oh my God. Let me get back on. Wait, hold on, let me twist this around. How you do it? All right. Yeah, so my battery died. I guess the battery computer will get back on. Ooh, we got the penny loafers on. Oh, she killing it. Hold on. I fuck with penny loafers. You know about penny loafers. All right. I got penny loafers. I do. So what's happening, y'all? Everything's everything. We're going to be back up in a minute. Oh, my gosh, Hallie. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. I'm just half-assing my shit. Stay half-assing me. I get half a cup. You know what I mean? It's all good. We'll get it together. So hope y'all doing good out there. Hope everybody's being positive and productive. Again, I take the time to talk to the young because that's the future. And I'm more invested in the future than the past, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Here you go. You fix that up? Yeah. Sorry about that. Hallie left me with my computer dead. Hallie left when Hallie walked off and had it plugged up and all that, but I guess it's my fault.
No, you good. We started playing Gap Band. You just missed out on this.
I said, Frankie, that's that outstanding.
Okay, so we got Dane back, and we have one more question from you that we had submitted to us. Is from Ernest Hall. He wants to know, how many times have you been told no?
Well, like in general or in business?
Probably in business. I think
I'm about to say, because I ask, the thing is, I'm a person that I would just say you can't count how many times people say no, because I ask for things I want. But no doesn't mean no for me. It means I do it myself. You know what I mean? So I give you the opportunity. But I honestly don't even give too many people the opportunity to tell me no. You know what I mean? Like, that's where my pride and my ego comes in. Like, who am I asked to tell me yes or no? But, that's why I don't like giving my stuff to like Netflix or, because they have the ability to be nerds and tell me no. So I started out in the music business and everybody told me no to sign Jay-Z, and I turned that into a yes. And it was good that they told me no because I had to do it myself, and it ended up way better for me.
Okay, great. So we're done with all the questions that were pre-submitted. So now we move to the portion where we'll answer your questions that are in the chat. I'm going to hand it over to Senator Yerd, and he's going to ask, I believe, Brian Akins. He has a question in the chat.
All right. Brian Akins, which is the director, advisor of Student Life. And his question is, do you have any impactful books that you suggest we read? And what brings you happiness now?
Well, on the book side, There's a book that I read called The Seed of the Soul. And it was years ago. It was actually how I got connected with Aaliyah and all that. And that's a good one for your soul. For business, I just think doing it has always been the best for me. I've never really read so many books on business.
What about philosophy of life? Like, you ever read like Joseph Campbell or any cats like that?
I mean, back in the day, I would read all of those books like the 48 Laws of Power, just so I could learn how, what everyone else, like I literally see people using pages on me from that book. And I'd be like, you know what I'm saying? So you know how to deal with it. And, the Celestine Prophecy and all that.
Yeah, The Secret, all that.
The Secret. I read all of that stuff, but it was years ago. You know what I'm saying? But right now, I be reading mad scripts.
Right.
So I'm reading mad scripts. But book wise, it's usually a book like something I'm gonna make a movie off of type of thing.
Would you ever be interested to, because I think, God rest his soul, Nipsey, he talked about, like, I know he wanted to name his last album Swoop by the Door. And I think they did an old school movie to that. Would you do a remake to Swoop by the Door?
Yeah, if I didn't have to pay the rights to it.
The rights to it, yeah. That takes a lot to it, yeah.
If there's no, I try to do things with no politics, so I can just, I'm telling you, I'm not good with it. It triggers me, man. I've had opportunities to do so many things, but just the politics and calls, and I just don't have it in me. I just walk away. The commission will tell you, I just poof, I'm gone. You don't see me.
And I was going to say this to the end, but huge shout out to Commissioner Weekly. He's in here. He's just tapping in, letting us do our thing. If it wasn't for Commissioner Weekly, Zach, Uretta, and myself, along with Campus Life and Student Government, we would not be able to do this tonight. So huge shout out to Commissioner Weekly, Chief Weekly to us now, since he's stepped down. But
well, he cares. He genuinely cares. You know what I mean? And
gotta give your flowers, definitely.
Yeah, I think he's one of those people that, because of what he's went through, he makes sure other people don't go through the same thing and feel the same pain, and he could relate. But he really cares.
He does. He's like he's a big brother, mentor. He holds us accountable. Like, we had a good long conversation last night. He doesn't play no games when it comes to us. Yeah, we appreciate it.
That's good. Should be more black men like that.
Yeah.
And women.
You have the next question, Zach?
Yes, we have another question in the chat from Jennifer. She wants to know, what advice do you have for our students starting out on how to build wealth and start investing? Another investing question.
Like I said, find something that you like, that you love, something you do for free, and do it until you get paid to do it, and invest in yourself until someone else will pay for it. But you got to invest in yourself. And that's all I know. And wealth to me is happiness. So if you ain't happy and laughing doing what you're doing and you're stacking money, you're still broke. You just have to find what makes you happy. You have to understand your dream so you can recognize it and then live it.
All right. That was a good one. Appreciate that. We got a question right here in the chat box. Let me see. Where was it at? Okay. From Christopher Cabrera. The question is, if you could start back at the beginning of your career with what you know now, would you pursue a particular field of education?
I think I can affect education the way I'm affecting it now, by learning how to do the things they're not teaching and then teaching it.
And just to elaborate more on that goes back into what you were saying as far as with basically life is the best teacher. Experience is the best teacher.
Exactly.
Still learning this is another form of education. Doesn't mean that education isn't just college, and that's something that
that's what they tell you education is.
It's not just college.
If you look at the like, I was looking at a lot of ancient history and, you know, hieroglyphics. I ain't never seen no representation in school back then. You know, I think schools implemented to control the masses. But, you know, seems logical. End up with a lot of debt. You got to get a job to pay the debt. And then to buy what you really want, you got to get more credit. And then you always have to have a job. It just seems like a pattern, you know, way of control.
Well, if I could comment on that. In most ancient civilizations, wasn't school something usually for the noble class, and people, peasant and lower classes weren't allowed to learn to read or write, and that was how they would control people, keeping them dumb and uneducated.
Not only that, they spoke different languages. A certain social class spoke a different language than a certain social class. They didn't even speak the same language. But what they consider school was probably way different than a classroom of people just sitting around talking and being away from their parents, you know, in the office during the day when it's sunny outside. You know what I mean? Like, to me, school should be outside, and it shouldn't look like a jail or a prison or a hospital. It should look like a resort. It should look like something fun. You know what I mean? So I go to school. When I went to school, I'm like, why does this shit feel like court or a hospital?
No, you're right. Like when Jesus, when he would teach, he would always be in Solomon's courtyard or outside. Solomon, when he was teaching his sons, he would teach them outside in his court.
And even with that, you know, the proper pronunciation of the name Jesus is Yahshua. Jesus is the Jesus is the European interpretation of the name. So why is it that us as black people, and nothing happened in the Bible in Europe, why do we do the European interpretation of the name? And, you know, I know when I go to Europe, there's no European interpretation of my name. It's Damon wherever I go. So I think that is used as a tool to make us think we're number two when we're number one. Because if you're not a smart black man coming into this planet, you'll think God is white just because you're calling him by a European name. And then when you want to get the blessing, like let's say you were trying to get props from me, but you was calling me Damien, not Damon, more than likely I'd be a little happy, but a little aggravated as well. It would be hard for me to give you my full blessing if you can't pronounce my name right. So these are questions that I have about the way history is manipulated and given to us.
Yeah, I like that. All right, so let me get to this next question. I don't know, you just probably went a little bit too deep for a lot of people right now.
No, man, you just right, and you can skip it.
I know.
That's right.
I know.
You can any more investment questions, skip those. Like y'all know what to invest in. You know it's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, let's skip down to Brian. He had another question. He wants to know, what do you do every day to better yourself?
I mean, I work out mostly every day. I sit around, put notebooks together about my dreams and talk to people about what they need to do and help me and how they can help me get there. And I play with my babies. I talk to my children, and they make me a better person.
So, hey, ask 2 more questions in the chat, fellas, because then we got some Facebook questions I want to make sure I ask Dave.
Okay, all right, no problem. Let's see where we at. All right, we'll go with Isabella, or Isabel, excuse me. What is your creative process like?
It depends on what I'm doing. So, like, for example, I'm doing a movie right now. Are you gonna walk with me? Mm-hmm. And it's not gonna die, right?
It should be okay.
So I'm doing a movie right now, and you know, as I'm writing the script, I'm doing a storyboard. You know, I don't know if y'all can see it, but I need to visualize. I gotta see everything. I can see it. So these are storyboards. So when I do a movie first, as I'm writing the script, I'm making pictures of it, and you know, again, I first do something that's called the octopus, which is where I draw a circle with the head, and I get all the legs into the ancillary things, and I figure out which things are a priority. I put it all in a piece. Let me show you my notebook. It's my notebook? Yeah. So look, you can even see it. You see, this is where I work. You know, in the morning, you see all these octopuses, notebooks. So every leg has a sort of a chapter or a tab. And if you notice, you see it? You notice it's all written down in you know, I don't do the typing thing because I think, you know, it's important to write and connect with what you're writing, and it also helps you practice. And you know, I do this every day. You saw I have an inspiration board next to my toilet, so I see it every time I go to the bathroom every day. So I got to see that every day. I'm reminding myself every day of my dreams. You know, so the first thing I do when I'm inspired and I'm focused, I make an octopus, and then I put a little notebook together. To answer the question.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You want to ask one more in the chat? Then I got 2 questions in Facebook.
Your question, go ahead and answer that. I'm having some technical difficulties on my side.
All right, yeah, no problem, Zach. All right, so let's see what we're gonna be at with the next question. Well, no, I think we're done with what's that box right now. Next is our jump.
There's one more there. Who are your This is by Christopher Cabinet.
Oh, okay, yep.
I like put that outside. Just put it on this. I mean, I would grab different things from different people. So like Muhammad Ali, I liked him a lot. And you know, there would be people in my life, my uncle, you know, the chief, you know, it's like people that were doing things better than everyone else at all times. But I might not want to be doing exactly what they were doing, but I would like the way they were doing it, and I would take certain ideals from it. You know what I mean? So like in the street, my mentor was like, you know, I'll give my, you know, Daniel. I just call him my OG. I wanted to be like, I like the way he hustled, so I used to try to hustle like him. I like the fact that Muhammad Ali was going to tell you when he was going to knock you out, and was proud of who he was, and, you know, and do all that, and to say he was pretty and talk all this talk, but he backed it up. He could really, you know, most people that talk can't fight. I wanted to be able to talk and fight. You know, that's why I started the box. You know what I mean? And then, you know, certain people, you know, at times like Russell Simmons, when I was seeing how he was moving as far as the businesses go and going into different branches and ancillary things like fashion, and I liked his lifestyle. So I was sort of like, I'm gonna do my like tougher version of Russell, you know what I mean? But, you know, more boxing than yoga, you know what I'm saying? But it was that kind of thing. So certain people have influenced me in certain ways. Martin Luther King, you know, I liked how I didn't really like, it was extraordinary to me how strategic he was and how he could convince black people to just get beat to expose the rest of the world. And, you know, it's easy to talk that talk when you're not in that, where it's happening. Like, you know, a lot of people from the East were talking about the South, but they wasn't in the South. But he was in the South. He was in the church. He was calling the governor like, yo, you said you're going to hold me down. They really right outside. You know, he was really walking. What was this? Stokely Carmichael, that was his name. Walking. They was really walking, beefing, and, you know, all that. You know, he was really in the mix. He was about that life. So his courage and the eloquence of his courage, passive bravery, you know, like it's always been hard for me not to hit back, but I've learned sometimes to have to like take a little just to showcase that somebody's not being fair, and then hit back a little harder though.
One of the crazy things about Dr. King, and I've been blessed that I'm part of the fraternity, the same fraternity as him. They never really they always show the whitewash version of Dr. King. They never show the radical, right? like Dr. King was really radical. And a lot of people don't see that, especially one of the last speeches when he talked about
the empowerment. Yeah.
Exactly.
That you're not going to be equal. That's the one they said is the reason why they killed him, because they was like, you're not going to be equal till you have the same kind of bread. Yep. And that's when he got really dangerous.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but I actually have a question on Facebook from a good friend of mine, Mr. Cortland Hill, from C Hill.
Also, I don't want to forget Farrakhan too.
Farrakhan, oh yes, salute to Farrakhan.
And he's been someone that's been a mentor still to this day. And he's taught me things like how to farm and things of that nature, how to protect myself, and giving me the confidence to be like, nah, you're doing the right thing. Keep doing what you're doing. It takes the time to talk to me when I ask. So, being able to have that kind of access to that kind of legend, that kind of gangster, that shit is real. I call him the Don. That's the Don.
Salute to Farrakhan, most definitely.
Yeah.
The question actually, it is crazy because how he taught you about farming and actually raising. This question kind of pertains to it a little bit, but this includes your friends and family, right? And it's from my man Cortland Hill. He asked, do you think doing business with friends and family is safe, or is it not worth the risk anymore? Because I know you've had the experience with friends, but how about with family?
I still work with family. I work with my girl, Like I said, you're going to get burnt regardless. You might as well get burnt by family. At least you ain't got to pay for it. But it's hard to work with family. It's not the easiest thing in the world. But you can only work with family if they really not because they're family. They got to really do what they got to do. You know what I mean? But nepotism, I think, should be practiced in our culture because it's been practiced in everyone else's culture. So I do want to create a business. I'm going to pass it to my son before I pass it to someone I don't know.
Definitely good. So shout out to that question. The next question is, what are your thoughts on Christian hip hop? So I'm assuming probably like Lecrae and like Anamino, those type of rappers, like hip hop, Christian hip hop. How you feel about that? That's the question.
I mean, I guess I don't really know those artists, and but I think it's dope. Any kind of hip hop is dope. Right. So being able to communicate and say what you feel and what's inspiring you, whether it's hip hop, rock and roll, jazz, the blues, I think, all expressions should be welcome. So yeah, that's dope. I mean, the only, I thought Kanye did a lot for, hip hop and Christian hip hop. You got them Grammys and all that. Brought a lot of attention to it,
I know actually you had a question for him too about,
yeah, I did, Sean. Thank you. Dave, I'm from Las Vegas, and I know a lot of local hip hop artists from the city, and I know a lot of them always asking, want some insight from some experience. What's your best piece of advice that you would give an aspiring artist to be able to get in the industry and start being successful?
I suggest they do shows. And just keep doing shows and making merch. And that's the way. You got to do shows. To me, to get in the game, you got to do shows.
Shows. Yeah. Shows with content and detail, right?
Pardon? Yes.
Shows that have like detail and content.
Yeah, get the shows and tape it and, be consistent and sell your merch. And, if you can get 100 people in a room, especially during COVID, then, you'll be all right for the rest of your life. You won't need a label. You won't need anybody. Like if you're gonna get a manager, if your manager can't get you some shows, then there's no need for him really.
Most definitely.
Yeah, no, that's some gems right there. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm trying to light on.
No problem at all. So that's actually. Let me go back on Facebook. Make sure that folks ain't got no more questions. Big facts. Nope. So. On behalf of the College of Southern Nevada Campus Life Department, ASCSN Student Government, we want to thank you, Dave, for taking the time out to be with us, to talk to our students. Our students are blowing up in the chat saying how much they love your responses. And again, we want to thank the Diversity Department, more particularly Chief Weekly. Chief Weekly, if you could you bless us one time, Chief Weekly? I know you on here. He's in there. Tyler,
What's going on, sir? How you doing?
What's happening?
Bless, man. We want to thank you so much for trusting us to make this happen. This was definitely a fruitful conversation. It felt like when we all met for the Zoom call, like we just all had a great conversation. And this is what we wanted the students to feel. And so we just wanted to thank you on behalf of the college, because we got to get you to come physically in person. We definitely got to get you down to Vegas to meet with our students. And
let me say that. Let me say this before Dame gives some closing remarks. I want to just thank Zach, and I want to thank Jared for just an amazing job. Thank both of these young kings and these leaders. Where's Zach at? I don't see Zach on the screen, but
he's
okay. All right. At any rate, thank them both very much for their leadership. But more importantly, I want to thank you just for all you do. And of course, I would be remiss if I left out my man Brian Akins. Both of you guys are amazing role models on CSN's campus, and our students are so very blessed. I want to thank Clarissa Cota and definitely President Dr. Federico Zaragoza for just giving you all the wings to fly and spread your wings, and just make sure that the students of CSN, that we continue to promote diversity, equity, inclusion, that all of our students at CSN realize that all lives matter. And that, I love what you guys are doing to make sure that our African-American students realize that they have a place on this campus, that they should feel proud of being a part of CSN, and that we're going to make sure that we do our part to make sure that inclusiveness is all the way around. And so, Dame, you've been nothing but a good friend to me, man, and I can't thank you and Raquel enough. I love you both. Anytime I call you guys are Johnny on the spot. And I just want to thank you, God, Dame, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for blessing CSN, and all goes well. It's our goal. We want to see you on campus here to bless CSN personally once things kind of clear up this fall. So, Dame, thank you very much. And thank you, Nicolette. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Nicolette. Thank you. She's been huge. Thank you, Nicolette, Raquel, Marisa, the other campus line coordinators. Thank you, my man, Brian. Brian, you down with all my crazy ideas, and I deeply appreciate you, Brian. Zach and Yared, did you want to say anything to Dame as we wrap up and close up? Because we're going to close out with a bang. We're going to close out dancing in a minute.
Yeah, sure. I'll jump in right quick, and then Yared, you can say what you want to say. I want to say thanks, Dame, for all the information you've given us so freely. This is truly a blessing. No one actually has to do anything like this, but you decided to come out and do this for us, and I really appreciate that. I'm going to take a lot of the advice that you've given to heart, and hopefully make something out of myself and make something out of my community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank all of you. You want to close it out, or you have something you want?
No, I wanted to say something to you real quick too, Dame. Just like everybody said, we really appreciate you, and thank you for coming. And we ain't hear no confirmation. What's happening? You gonna come back on campus when they open back up?
Definitely.
Okay.
Why wouldn't I?
Now say it then.
Why wouldn't I?
All right.
I got my son. I got my girl just gave me my son to watch while she gets a massage. I gotta put him in the daddy trap. He's tired. But I want to thank y'all for listening, and at this age, being this aware and wanting to be better. That's half the battle. The way to say thank you to me is just to apply the things that I said, and be successful and be great. And one day I'll be calling you to help me, and you'll be like, of course, because you didn't help, and it's going to be that thing, and that's the purpose of it. So I look forward to seeing what y'all evolve into as adults, even though you're adults now, meaning, older adults. And, I look forward to doing business with each and every one of y'all at some point, and just remember to dream big, and always make sure that you're dreaming about, helping the people that you love, having enough to help yourself and helping the people you love without it hurting you. And, thank you, Commish, for being, consistent and being a real dude and loving the people and loving the culture and, taking your experience and turning it into a light. And making sure everyone else is actually having a better time than you had. And that's dope. So anytime y'all need me, I'm here. You know what I mean? And thank you Sorry, the baby's grumbling, but I'm on daddy duty. And this is the best problem to have,
It's all good.
It's the best thing in the world for me.
Hey, go feed that hungry baby, boy.
I got you. Also, he's potty trained too. He's 4 months old. He's potty trained. Okay, he's potty trained.
Yeah.
But anyway, so thank y'all. And, until the next time. And check out, make sure each and everybody, all I ask is that everybody on here go on your phone and order Dame Dash Studios.
Yo, I was watching Paper Soldiers today. I am a subscriber. All that.
All right, good money. So please let me know. Dame Dash Studios.
Get that up.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, y'all.
Hey,
I see you.
Sean, can we stay on for a second?
Yes, sir. We can. All right, y'all. Thank you for the confidence.
All right, Dame.
All right, y'all.
If you want another awesome video in our Black Excellence series, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.